When we talk about a hip replacement, there's two different types of approaches to having a hip replacement. The first one I want to talk about is a posterior approach. This is also called a traditional approach. This is the way they've been doing it for a long time. With a posterior approach, there are hip precautions that come along with it. The reason that we have hip precautions is to prevent your hip from dislocating after surgery. So for the first 2 months, we want you to avoid crossing your legs. That's why we're going to ask you to keep a pillow or a bolster pillow or something in between your legs so that when you're sleeping at night that you don't accidentally cross your legs. The second hip precaution is not bending your hip past 90 degrees. The 90-degree angle that I'm talking about, as you can see on your screen, is from the knee down to the hip and up to the shoulder. To prevent breaking those hip precautions, you want to avoid having your knee higher than your hip, and you will want to avoid having your shoulders in front of your hips. This will keep yourself in the optimal position after a hip replacement, and we will work with you on this after surgery, so don't worry about remembering all this right now. The third hip precaution is not turning your feet inward. We want you to avoid what they call pigeon-toed, so make sure that your toes are always pointed forward or pointed slightly outward. The second type of approach to a hip replacement is called an anterior approach. For an anterior hip replacement, there's a couple different hip precautions as well. The first one is to avoid extreme hip extension, which means when you're stepping backwards, you need to always lead with the non-surgical leg. The second precaution is to also avoid extreme external rotation, which also means that you need to keep your toes, your knees, everything pointed forward instead of having them pointed out.